What? Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Morgan. I'm chair of the 7th Circuit JNC. We're conducting interviews this afternoon for the county vacancy here in Volusia County. You have applied. If you could start by introducing yourself again to the commissioners and telling us why you want to be a county judge.
My name is Hutcheson. I have been with the state attorney's office for 15 years, and it's always been an interest of mine since I was a young child to pursue becoming a judge. In particular, county court. I've served this community for 15 plus years at the state attorney's office. Becoming a judge is another way of serving the community. As a county judge, you're probably going to find, you're going to come into contact with maybe a lot more people than you might as a circuit judge, whether it's small claims because they've gotten charged with DUI or some sort of misdemeanor offense, and the judge is probably going to make a difference in what they remember about the judicial system if they've never been there before, how the judge spoke to them, spoke to the attorneys, any of that kind of stuff, and I think I would enjoy being on the county bench.
What about, you have a lot of prosecutor experience,
I do.
but not a lot of civil experience, and this is a civil spot. So how do you get into landlord, tenant, and small claims, and the county bench now handles bigger civil cases than they did a couple of years ago. So how do you make that transition?
Well, first I get a civil rules of procedure and start doing a little light reading there. But for me, I'm not someone that's scared to ask questions. I'd rather ask questions and learn how to do something the right way. Yes, I've spent my career as a prosecutor in the criminal world, but there are plenty of judges on the bench now that either I've practiced in front of or worked with at the state attorney's office or as defense attorneys. I'm not scared to maybe speak to or seek out help from one of the judges that has done civil county. I like learning. I think that's really that. Learn up on the different laws, and if you need help, you ask questions. Maybe step or take a break during court if you needed to contact another judge and try to do things the best of my ability and make the right decisions.
Can you talk to us about your involvement in the community? I know you're in junior league, but I was more curious about the ballet than
The Civic Ballet of Volusia County, that was started in the early 90s, and so I actually danced in the Nutcracker a couple years when I was in middle school. I have a dance background and did that my entire life. And so the Civic Ballet of Volusia County that's the board I'm on. I'm the secretary on that, and we put on the Nutcracker every year at the Peabody Auditorium in December, and it is made up of all different girls and boys from the local studios audition and come together and put on a big performance for the community. The auditions are usually in August and September, and then practice every Sunday until the performance in December. Actually, a few years ago, I wanted to perform as an adult again, and I was Mother Ginger as an adult. And we also put on it's been a little, we haven't been able to do it because of COVID and stuff. The past couple years it was on hold. But a fall festival of the arts, again, that's made up of a bunch of different studios, and kids from all over the community take a master class and then put on a performance. On the second day, we offer different scholarships to people children that might not be able to afford it, for them to be able to participate also.
And I attend every year.
Do you?
I sure
Yes.
do, and really enjoy it.
Yes, thank you.
how's having grown up pretty much your whole life, if not your whole life, with your dad being a judge? How would that affect what you learned from him as you as a judge?
Well, personally, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I've heard this actually throughout my entire career, and I think he has been in my childhood, growing up, and also in my legal career, a fantastic role model. When I first started at the state attorney's office and people would find out my last name, and they of course would, ask if there was any relation. And, I'm a brand new misdemeanor attorney, doesn't know much of anything at all. And you'd have all these attorneys that would sit here and say all these fantastic things about your dad. I'm like, oh, maybe they just want a better deal. And I came to learn over the years that just the way he spoke to people in court, took his time to listen, was very patient, very understanding. That's would be my role model on the bench. And I was raised around that. Luckily for me, he was on the bench my entire life, so you had the exposure to all the other judges on the bench or at the judges' conferences growing up. Those were our vacations. So you could kind of see how other judges did. So that's what we did. Hung out with all the other judges' kids at the judges' conferences. They went off to their classes and we played in the pool.
He certainly was a extraordinary judge. He made one mistake. He swore me in. 44 years ago. So,
well, he swore me in too, so we
we
got that in common.
got that in common. Say hello to your mother, too.
I will.
Campaign? You ready for all that?
Well, that's a big undertaking, but John mentioned the Junior Service League of DeLand. I know people are probably more familiar with that, but maybe the Daytona one, but the DeLand one, I was an active member in that for years. One of our biggest fundraisers was called Wild Wild West. That required us to go out in the community, seek whether it be donations of outright money or items for the silent auction, stuff like that. So I have a history of having to go out and make contacts with the community for Junior Service League. Also, we do fundraising with the ballet board too, because both of those are nonprofits. I did grow up in this county. I left for law school and for college. Otherwise, I have been here. I have a lot of friends and family in this area, friends that are business owners, contacts that I've made through JSL, or, through the Volusia County, or the Civic Ballet, to be able to reach out to those people. As I mentioned before, I would feel comfortable talking to any of the other judges about, the ones that especially that have run successful campaigns, and finding out exactly what you need to do and how to make a campaign successful.
Did your dad ever have a campaign?
When he ran for the county bench originally, he did run a campaign, and then he was appointed to this circuit bench. I believe he had opposition that very first time, but then after that he never had opposition. But he definitely had a campaign for the county bench. I think things have changed a little bit since then, but he's someone else that I could go to
up on
on
a
that.
flyer as a kid.
Mailers and pass out the flyers. He's probably still got a few of those around the house too.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for coming. At the end of the day, we will give you a call. Is the phone number ending in 19 a good number to reach you?
Yes, that's my cell phone number.
Great, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.